Hey, this is Shawn Hilton from Comics Cubed, coming to you from 121 East Sycamore in the heart of downtown Kokomo, one of the many members of Geek Street. We're going to be looking at some books coming out for March 11th. You can find them at Comics Cubed, and Comics Cubed will be open on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 11 to 6, and Saturday from 11 to 5. First up on today's list will be from Image Comics, the much anticipated Jonathan Hickman, Mike Huddleston Decorum #1. It is a massive $4.99 first issue. The thing is absolutely a tome. A lot of stuff going on in the book. Hardcore sci-fi action adventure. If I had a complaint, it is that there's a ton of dead space in the first issue. Lots of graphic layout kind of things, little charts, different things to help you fill you in on what you're going to see within the world itself. Very similar to the exact same stylings that we've seen within the X books. In fact, I was a little surprised to see the layout so close to what we've already seen in another major book from one of the big two, and then him bringing that exact same graphic style over to this first Image comic with his new Decorum. People are really excited about it. I think it's pretty cool, but again, if for such this, you pick it up, you're like, man, I'm getting my money's worth. But once you actually like factor out all of the kind of wasted space and the art pieces that aren't really super relevant, you're really down to about a normal sized issue. As for the Mike Huddleston art, there are portions of this that'll just melt your eyeballs. It's so good. There's other portions that are a little sketchy. The art style changes throughout the book and proceeds to give you a really cool feel for this new universe that they're creating. So overall, it's definitely worth picking up, but I have to admit, I don't know on first sight that you're getting exactly what you think you're paying for. There's a little gristle on the bone on this one, but overall, an excellent read with some fantabulous art. Next up on our list is Marvel Comics Cable #1 from Jerry Dugan and Phil Noto. The new Cable is a younger man who has come back in time and killed off his predecessor, the old Cable, in what can only be a very confusing bit of continuity, but seems to be working out. The young Cable's already appeared in another series or two where he's taken on the lead role a few times. However, this is his first outing as his actual named after him book, and I gotta say, for the very first issue, I was quite impressed. Phil Noto's art brings the thing alive, and Jerry Dugan's also my favorite writer currently for any Marvel project, really, and that's Marauders. So putting him on this book just seemed like a nice fit. He definitely is able to bring some life into this new character, whereas he definitely seems to respect the older generation of mutants. He's a young guy, he's got a bit of an attitude, and not the gritty style manner of when we say that attitude thing. It almost always just gets turned into something else. But this time around, it's a lot of fun. He's got some co-stars in it with armor, and just really well done overall. Big monster fight book in the beginning, leads into a very interesting and cool setup with the Space Knights, with him receiving an artifact straight out of what you would have thought would have been one of the ROM issues. So Marvel's obviously lost the rights to ROM, but they've kept the rights to Space Knights in general, and they seem like they're going to play a major factor in this first storyline. Plus, I believe possibly the introduction of 2 new mutants, at least 2 that I've never seen before. So Cable #1 is well worth picking up for a first-time issue for either a longtime comic fan or somebody that's just getting into it. From Image Comics, we get the first issue of Stealth #1 by Mike Costa. In it, we're going to see a street-level style superhero in the mean streets of Detroit. And when we say the mean streets, they are playing it up. This is not sugarcoating the death of Detroit in any manner. In fact, this book seems to be almost an obituary to a city, and it's dying before our eyes in nearly every single panel. We follow a young man, he seems to be a reporter, and he's going about his life. He's got some issues with his father, and the father's getting a little older. We're dealing with some things. And the entire book is, quite frankly, it's a little dull in some spots, but is made up by a really interesting twist ending that completely turns this whole thing around. The entire time I'm reading the first issue of this book, I'm I'm just not sure that this is going anywhere that I'm interested in. I do sense that from the very beginning there is a twist, that there's something not right. We're being kind of led to believe that one character might be this vigilante character, but there's never a direct connection, and in the end we see the twist and how it pays off, and it makes it all worthwhile in the end. So if you're looking for a super fast burn action adventure in your face kind of a comic, this isn't it. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit more slice of life with a tad bit of reality thrown in with the death of Detroit and those kind of things, and then a very interesting twist that really did make the whole thing pay off at the end, Stealth #1 might be the book for you to check out. Very possibly my favorite book is from Marvel Comics this week, and it's Marvel's Snapshot Submariner by Alan Burnett and the legendary Jerry Ordway. A classic Golden Age style tale told in an extra long format. This is absolutely just one of the best things I've read all week long. A great adventure that feels like a classic Golden Age story. The Jerry Ordway art just comes alive. Anybody that liked All-Star Squadron is going to love this book. Not only is it got some extra length to it than a normal book would, but Jerry Ordway knocks out panel after panel after panel. This is old school writing, storytelling, and art. You are getting the best bang for your buck in a classic story with a throwback straight to 1945. It's got it all. It's got Namor. It's got a love interest that has, it's going to be completely put off by Namor because he is never going to reciprocate. It's also got the all-star winner squad in it. So there's a little bit of something in here for everybody, from Captain America to the Wizard to the all-winner squad, Namor, giant shark people in Nazi suits, the whole thing. It's just a wonderful, fun book. Highly recommend it. If you want some old school comic storytelling, this is the book to get this week, bar none. The last book this week is from Marvel Comics, and it is Star Wars Bounty Hunters #1 from Ethan Sachs, featuring notable bounty hunters such as Boba Fett, Bosk, as well as some new additions to bounty hunter lore and legend, which I am sure that you're going to get into. This one sees a flashback to a job that goes poorly. Then we jump right back into moments after the end of Empire Strikes Back, where vengeance is about to be played out by numerous bounty hunters who got burnt in the flashback scene. Bosk is out for blood. Boba Fett is willing to give up his money to go after this one, and everybody else that was involved that's still alive is looking for some payback. If you're a Star Wars fan, or if you're a bounty hunter fan from the Star Wars universe in particular, this is going to be one you absolutely have to check out. With a guest shot from Dr. Aphra, I don't think you can go wrong. Great ties into the Star Wars universe, wonderful art throughout the whole thing, and a story that's very engaging.